right, good morning everyone. My name is Sean Slack with Orlando Green and Yellow Magazine and with Slack's Tracks MCO. I, along with Justine Assaul, would like to welcome you here to beautiful downtown Orlando this morning. We are actually sitting at City Hall inside of the office of the Honorable Mayor of Orlando, Buddy Dyer, to discuss a very prominent subject here, which is Orlando City Soccer. Mayor Dyer, thank you for your time.
Sean, my pleasure.
Orlando City Soccer is really an amazing story. In 3 short years, they've won a league title, a division title. They're advancing to the semifinals, which is being played tomorrow night here at the Citrus Bowl. And a report recently came out citing several sources saying that attendance has been at a record high again for the team. Can you put into words their amazing transition here into Orlando, and why do you think this brand of soccer is really doing so well in such a short period here?
Well, they've been extremely successful both on the field. They put a good product on the field, but also their ownership group is tremendous. They have involved themselves in the community. Their marketing is tremendous. And then there's really a pent-up demand in Central Florida for professional soccer. We're striving to become major league status, and I think that's going to happen this fall.
Yes, sir. It seems exciting. And, a few weeks ago, you and Orange County Mayor Teresa Jacobs were able to announce an agreement in principle between Orlando City and the Tourism Development Council as far as being able to allocate tourism dollars to help fund the new stadium that's being built, which is a very exciting moment for us. But however, many Orlandoans here don't really understand how the tourism tax actually works, or the development tax, I should say. Can you kind of explain how that tourism development tax works, and why this is such an important step, and what are some of the next steps that need to happen for us to be able to get this done?
Sure. That's a big question.
I know.
So many years ago, the tourism industry decided that they would impose, or wanted to have imposed, what's called tourist development tax on hotel rooms. So currently it is 6 cents on the dollar for any hotel room that's rented in Orange County, and that money can only be used for certain uses, and each penny is actually designated for different specific uses. For instance, the 6 cent, which was added on when we built the Amway Center, can only be used for either tourist advertising or for construction of a facility that'll house a major league sports franchise. Unfortunately, when that legislation was originally developed, the major league sports franchises that were specifically identified were hockey, football, baseball, and basketball. So we were able to utilize the 6 cent on the stadium, and the tourist development tax that we'll be using on the arena. The tourist development tax that we'll be using for the soccer facility will come from the growth in the first 5 cents.
Understood, which will help clear that up a lot. I've been involved personally in developing tourism business here in Orlando for the majority of my life here. I was born and raised here, and especially from South America, with groups coming in from Brazil, Argentina, in particular to companies like Sports Authority and H.H. Gregg, like a Luggage and More, Macy's, etc. And my friends here from Discount 102 also do a lot of stuff with the FITs. And my point is, we've seen firsthand the benefits of embracing the tourism industry, and now it appears with Orlando going to have eventually the MLS team here with the stadium as well. Can you explain some of the benefits for tourism economically and culturally, which will be gained here with this new venture?
Well, Orlando is a very diverse community. Last year we welcomed over 57 million visitors to Central Florida, which is the most anywhere in the world. So we're the most visited location, most visited destination in the world, and we're about to marry the world's most popular sport with the world's leading tourist destination. South American tourism is very big for us. The top 3 countries that visit Orlando are Canada, Great Britain, and Brazil. And Brazilians spend a lot of money while they're here, probably 50% more than the next highest tourist. And we think with Major League Soccer, and of course we have Brazilian ownership of the team, that there's going to be a natural connection. We'll be the closest Major League Soccer franchise to South America, and we want to cultivate the South American market to, when they come on a vacation to to the United States and they want to take in soccer, Orlando is going to be their destination.
Well, it's very interesting you brought that up because I was going to talk about that towards the end, but I interviewed Flavio Augusto da Silva, the owner, actually a few weeks ago, and he was talking about his interest in making Orlando City basically the second team for Brazilians, because obviously we have a lot of Brazilians that are living here now, the high volume of tourism that's coming up here. And how does that make you feel? I mean, that's going to be amazing to have, Brazilians either rooting for a Flamengo or Corinthians or Santos based in Brazil, but then their second team would be Orlando, which...
Maybe Kaká's playing for this team. Exactly. I know that they want to sign a Brazilian star to play for the Orlando City Lions, and we anticipate, if we can finish our deal in the next month, that we'll have a franchise before the end of the year and that they'll be playing in 2015.
And that would be fantastic. His contract with Real Madrid is actually up then, so that'll be great. And speaking of timing, timing is everything, as you know. I remember playing football for UCF like we talked about earlier. In 1994, when the World Cup was last year, we used to play in the Citrus Bowl. And actually, like we talked about, they play tonight, so go Knights. Considering the environment right now that soccer has in the United States, I mean, you have the USA national team that's going to be qualifying for the World Cup, it looks like again. The television ratings have never been higher. NBC has just signed the new deal with MLS and has now been broadcasting Premier League games. Can you kind of describe how the exact timing of what's going on right now is perfectly aligned, basically, for the success, and considering all the soccer environment and all the good things that are going on right now?
That's exactly right. Major League Soccer currently has 19 teams. They just awarded a franchise to New York, which will be the 20th, but there are no Major League Soccer franchises in the southeastern United States. The closest are Houston, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. So we are right. They want to expand into the southeastern part of the United States. The league itself has become wildly successful, and largely their model is to have smaller urban stadiums, so the 18 to 24,000 range. That's, I think, probably 16 of the 19 stadiums in the league are of that sort, and they've been extremely popular. There are 3 teams that recently moved from minor league status to major league status, and every one of them had at least 100% increase in attendance. So Orlando City Lions already have the largest attendance in minor league, and actually they beat a few of the major league soccer teams.
And that was amazing. And I tell you, the games are a whole lot of fun. So
the other thing, though, is you talked about the place and time for soccer. Soccer has become the second most popular professional sport in the United States among the under 24 age groups, the 12 to 24. So they're going to continue to become a larger percentage of the market. So it'll be the same for when they're 25, 26, 27. And then Central Florida specific, we have such a diverse population, many of which are international and come from countries that really embrace soccer as their primary sport. And then the number of youth participants. There are more youth participants in Central Florida than we're second most in terms of population of youth participants anywhere in the United States.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not realize that. That's even better news. You were recently in Cincinnati, meaning to try and lure the Fraternal Order of Police convention and that big operation that's going up there to the city. We're kind of going against, it looks like, Nashville and other cities to host that in 2017. Can you kind of talk about how having another Major League sports franchise here helps you and kind of sits in your arsenal, so to speak, to go after things like that?
It does in a variety of ways. First, it's quality of life for our residents and having more amenities, having more offerings just for our residents. But also, when you think of a major league city, having a second major league team in your city adds to the reputation or the panache of your city, I think. And then it's another offering when a tourist is making a decision on where they're going to visit. It's another factor in their decision on what city they're going to spend their money in.
And speaking of which, Orlando is the home of Disney and Universal and other big companies that work within the framework of tourism. Has there been any discussions yet about forming any partnerships or anything with companies like that, or are they just kind of waiting to see when we're going to sign with the MLS? And
Well, I know that Flavio is already talking about cross-marketing, how travel agencies in Brazil specifically would cross-market, you know, a trip to Disney with a 3-day package and a soccer game included in it. And the tourism community certainly recognizes the benefit of having Major League Soccer here in Orlando. They were very supportive, expressly supportive, of using a small portion of the tourist development tax as part of the funding for the stadium.
Sure. Just a few more questions. You're creating, if you forgive me, quite a legacy here in Orlando with many exciting changes happening in Orlando that's been here under your watch. I mean, with the growth of UCF, with their new stadium, and with the Medical City out there, obviously with the Orlando Magic and the incredible Amway Center, and now with the new stadium it looks like we're going to end up getting, all happening with you being the mayor here. Is there a sense of pride and accomplishment, not just for you, but for your team in general? Because, I mean, you guys are really making this stuff happen.
Well, I think for the city and for the region as a whole, we've learned to collaborate. And we're not the capital of Florida, but I do think we are the capital of collaboration in Florida. And you mentioned many of the successes we've had, and it's because we're able to partner across boundaries that some other communities are not. Government with the business community, with our great university, with our not-for-profits, with developers, and we've accomplished a lot because people are willing to put their egos aside and work together.
That's fantastic. Well, as I was telling you, I'm actually leaving for Brazil this Monday. There's another tourism trade convention. We're working with a lot of the tour operators, bringing them here, which should be a really big summer, by the way, with December and January, their high season. Speaking of the Brazilians, a lot of our readers are either from Brazil or they'll be watching. Do you have any message that you like to say to them? I mean, a lot of the Brazilians that are based in Brazil are going to get a hold of this, and they're really excited about what's going on, not just obviously with Orlando City, but in general with Orlando.
Well, for the tourist, I'd say there's no better place to visit than Orlando. Certainly, the fact that we had 57 million visitors last year is a prime example of that. And for the businessman, I would give you a little example. I helped open a new Wawa, which is a convenience store this morning. It was their 25th, and they have just started operating in Florida last year. So 13 months ago they opened their first. Today they opened their 25th. But the president of Wawa said, we've been operating for 100 years in 5 other states, and I can tell you that the last 13 months we have encountered the most business-friendly city that we operate in anywhere. So that's a nice testament to being able to do business in the city of Orlando.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. I want to give a little recognition to my friends Brian Paul and Chris Jones with Orlando City Soccer. Have been fantastic. They've been tirelessly promoting Orlando City, especially to all of us, especially with the big crowds I'm sure you've seen in the end zone, like with the ruckus. And I mean, those guys, they create an amazing atmosphere for the games. Tomorrow night is a huge game. They're going into the semifinals with a chance to go back to the championship. So I wonder if you might have any words for the fans coming out for the game, or her might be wavering, but tomorrow night there isn't much going on. So, we want to pack the house for that.
Yeah, let's all turn out and support the Lions. Go Lions. Let's be loud.
That's right. Well, Mayor Dyer, I want to thank you again for your time. We'd love to see you again in a few weeks once we get everything finalized, if you don't mind. We'd love to talk to you again. This is an exciting time for Orlando, and it's been fantastic to talk to one of the leaders who's making it all possible. For Justina Saul and I, Sean Slack, this has been an Orlando Green and Yellow magazine and Slack Track's MCO production. Stay tuned for the upcoming exclusive article, which will be out soon. And we'll go from there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Go Lions. And if we talk again in 2 weeks, hopefully there'll be a championship trophy.
That's right. Thank you so much.